Hi, I'm Deana from the Y, and welcome to a 50-minute intermediate yoga flow class today. You'll need a mat to practice on, a quiet space, maybe a block or some books for extra height, maybe a towel for some extra padding, and a water bottle. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off today in our child's pose. So go ahead and get to child's pose and I'll get the music set. So we'll bring our toes together, knees wide, and let's go ahead and reach for the ankles and breathe here. Taking our foreheads to the mat today. So in yoga, we want to inhale and exhale through our noses to keep the heat within our bodies. And if having our foreheads to the mat isn't comfortable, we can always take a fist or even two fists stacked and bring our forehead to the fist instead. Just thinking about how we feel. We're just inhaling and exhaling here. Trying to bring our hips and our heels towards each other and our backs long. Maybe on our next inhale, we can reach those hands forward to extended child's pose. Breathing here. And while we're here, just being mindful that you have to honor your body. You must listen to your body, and it'll tell you, come out of the pose, you've been in the pose too long. If your breath becomes choppy, that's another sign to come out of the pose or not go as deep in the pose. So we have to choose what's best for our bodies and listen and honor our bodies as we practice yoga today. So we're elongating the spine here, reaching the fingers long. Let's take an active extended child's pose with those wrists and elbows off the mat, pressing our palms into the mat and our hips back here. One more breath. And let's just press forward here on our next inhale. Reset those knees underneath the hips. And we'll just press forward, looking up towards the sky. Exhale to press back. Inhale to press forward. Exhale back just a couple of times, loosening up those hips. We can look up to the sky as we inhale. One more time. And let's just stay here, this modified push-up position. So bring those hips up a little. So instead of looking up to the sky and pressing those hips down, let's find that modified push-up position. Fingers spread wide, shoulder width apart, front finger facing forward, that front middle finger facing forward. We're going to curl the toes under. And from here, lift our hips high, downward facing dog. Let's pedal here. Bring one heel up and then the other. One heel up and then the other. And it's normal to press into the heels of our hands, but let's try to press into the fingertips and even suction cup those palms to the mat today. We're pedaling here. One heel up and then the other. One knee in and then the other. And let's quiet that pose. So let's try to bring the heels down towards the mat. They may not get there, but we want to make sure we have a nice long spine, even if we have to bend the knees to press away from the mat here. Long spine from the tailbone through to the wrists, pressing those shoulders towards the toes. Or press those thighs to the back of the room if we can get those heels closer to the mat, whatever feels best. And this pose will feel better each time we come into it. So let's take another big inhale. On our exhale, let's walk our feet up to meet our hands. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold, sweeping those arms up to the sky and bring them to heart center together, and then to heart center. Lifting the heart up to meet the thumbs, looking at the tips of our fingers and setting our intention for our practice today. It's a personal intention. It can be about breathing more, being more aware of our bodies, what it's saying, or it can be a personal intention, something that you're thinking about that you'd like to dedicate your practice to. Let's take a big inhale and exhale to release our intention to the energy of our rooms. Fingers reach to the earth as we find our mountain pose here, Tadasana. So I like to keep my feet closer together, but maybe you're comfortable with those feet a little wider apart, hip width apart, gives you a little more stability. That's your base position for your feet, whatever feels best for you. Crown of the head reaching up to the sky, mountain pose. This is our standing attention pose. This is where we can catch our breath if we need to. Always come back to this pose or child's pose or downward facing dog if you need to come out of the pose. So we'll inhale and sweep those arms up to the sky. Exhale to swan dive down. We'll look up, lift up, and fold. And let's bring ourselves to a plank position. So you choose your plank. You can have a full plank, a kneeling plank, or even bent at the hip. What feels best for you as we simmer and breathe in this plank position. On our chaturanga, our hover position, our exhale hover, we can lower all the way down to the mat if we need to, or we can take our chaturanga. Big inhale and exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra, thighs on the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog, lifting those hips high, thighs to the back of the room here. One more breath. And on our next exhale, let's walk or jump those feet forward. Inhale to flat back, exhale, fold, sweep those arms up to the sky, finding our heart center and mountain pose. We'll just be here for one breath. And let's go ahead and inhale to sweep up again. Exhale to swan dive down. Look up, lift up, and fold. Let's find our plank position. Stepping back or jumping back. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, and downward facing dog. One more breath. Let's go ahead and rise our right legs high to the sky. Flex the feet, bend the knee. Send that right heel over to the left side. Nice hip opener here. Inhale to lengthen and exhale. Place that right foot all the way down to the mat, downward facing dog, before inhaling and lifting that left leg. Flexing the foot, bending the knee, sending that kneecap up to the sky. Inhaling to lengthen and exhale. Let's float that foot back to downward facing dog. We're going to walk or jump our feet forward. Inhale to flat back, folding, bend the knees, sweep up to the sky. And let's find our heart center and mountain pose. We'll take a chest expansion here. Let's interlace our fingers. Bring the heels of the hands together. And let's tuck the tailbone under us. Reach the knuckles towards the floor. And then the wrists away from the tailbone. So we have a nice straight back here, looking forward, not looking at me. Maybe we can arch the heart up to the sky here. Let's try to take the wrists even further away from the tailbone. Chest expansion. One more breath. Let's try to keep that arch in the back as we sweep up. Inhale and exhale, air chair pose. So options that we have, first we make sure we look down, we can see our big toe. We've got a bend in the knee, bend in the ankle, bend in the hip, and a long spine. The arms can be at the thighs, hands can be forward, or hands can be up to the sky, whatever feels best for us. Our chests are shining forward. One more breath. And on our exhale, let's bring those hands all the way down. Inhale, look up, lift up, and fold. Find our plank position. Next, exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra and downward facing dog. So we'll lift those right legs high to the sky, our right leg. Take that hip opener, flex the foot, bend the knee, send that heel over to the right. Stay strong on both arms here. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, bring that right foot all the way through to the thumb, setting up our warrior feet, and rise up, warrior one. So both hip bones are facing forward. Again, warrior feet, front toes forward, back toes angled 45 degrees. Arms are up to you. What feels best here? Let's just visit warrior two. Exhale and open those arms. In warrior two, warrior one, our hips are forward. Warrior two, our hips are trying to open now. We should still be able to see that front big toe. Wrists and shoulders in line. So I like to think about our arms reaching to the past, fingers reaching to the past, front fingers reaching forward to the future, but our bodies remaining in the present. We'll take reverse warrior. Left hand on the thigh, right arm up to the sky, and let's exhale. Cartwheel down to frame the feet. Lift that right leg high to the sky. And take that hip opener, bend the kneecap, send that right heel over. Inhaling to lengthen, and exhale, floating that right foot down. So we'll come to the other side. So we want to lift those left legs high and flex the foot, bend the knee. Send that kneecap up to the sky here. We're going to straighten that left leg, and it's headed to the left thumb. So if it doesn't get there on its own, you can put it there. Setting up for warrior one. Rising up, warrior one. Remember those hips. Our hips are facing forward. Almost as if the inside of that right thigh is going inward and upward behind us. Arms are up to you. Breathing here. So from here, stay right where you are. We're going to take warrior two. Inhale and exhale, warrior two. So our hips are level and wide. We should still be able to see that left big toe, and the arms are reaching in opposite directions. Fingertips reaching away from each other. Shoulders away from the ears. We're looking past that left middle finger. And let's bring our right hand to the thigh, reverse warrior, left arm up to the sky, palm facing behind us, and exhale when we're ready, cartwheeling down to frame the feet and lift that left leg high to the sky. Three-legged dog, bend the knee, take a hip opener here. Sending that left heel over to the right. Staying strong on both hands though. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so we're gonna look forward here. I'm thinking about placing my feet to the outside of my hands. So we're gonna inhale, and on our exhale, hop those feet forward. Let's try that again. So let's walk back. I'm gonna change my position here so you can see a little bit better. We're in downward facing dog. We're looking past our fingers, and our feet are headed to the outside of our hands. Try again. Exhale, bring it forward. Come up with a nice long spine. Let's try one more time, but here we're gonna just straighten those knees. Take a little wide forward fold, bring the crown of the head to the toes. Our hands are already set. Shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide, and let's just step back, downward facing dog. Big breath here. We know where we're headed. We want to be nice and light on our feet, lifting our hips up and gently placing our feet down when we're ready on our exhale. Long spines, and let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center. We're using our elbows to press our knees wide here. We're just here for one more breath. And let's bring our hands to the mat, turn our toes forward, straighten our legs. Forward fold, let the crown of the head reach to the toes. Maybe here we can bring our hands behind our legs. Give another little pull, 2 more breaths. Big breath in, big breath out. 1 more breath. And let's go ahead and bring our feet to our base position. Inhale, look up, lift up, exhale, fold. Sweep those arms up to the sky and find heart center and mountain pose. So we're gonna flow through to Warrior One, and keep in mind, we don't have to flow. We can just step back and find Warrior One. So let's find the tops of our mats if we've lost that. From here, we'll inhale to sweep up and exhale, air chair pose. 1 breath here. On our next exhale, finishing that swan dive down. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold. Finding a plank position, and big exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale to cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. So our right leg inhales to lift. Let's take that hip opener, bend the kneecap, a breath here. Inhale to straighten, and exhale, bring that right foot through to the right thumb. Set up Warrior One, rise up, and exhale, Warrior Two. So from here, we're gonna straighten that front leg, that right leg. We're gonna tip the left hip back and start to reach forward here with that right arm. Maybe that right hand feels good at the right thigh or the right shin, not on the right knee though. Maybe the ankle. And maybe this is a good time to use the block. We have 3 levels or several levels and heights that we can use for the block. So let's find our triangle pose again. So think about opening that left hip, reaching the left fingertips up towards the sky. Crown of the head is forward as the hips pull back. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Breathing here. Our chin is slightly tucked as we look up towards that top thumb. 1 more breath. Inhale, we'll lift up, and exhale, Warrior Two. We'll take reverse warrior, hand on the thigh, arm up to the sky, and let's exhale to side angle pose. Elbow on the thigh, left arm up to the sky. So let's just check in. Try to get that knee right on top of the ankle, not past the ankle, right on top of it. And let's go ahead and make sure that our shoulder doesn't jut out, that we bring the shoulder right on top of the elbow as well, that right shoulder. So here we are in side angle pose. Options that we have is again to place our hand to the floor or use the block. Again, lots of different height options as well. Simmering in this pose as we're breathing. Reaching those fingers up to the sky. Let's take extended side angle pose, reaching that arm forward. And then right from here, reverse warrior on the inhale. Keep those thighs right where they are. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, side angle pose. Let's rise that arm up to the sky this time. One more time. We're going to inhale, reverse warrior. Whoops. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, side angle pose. From here, let's go ahead and drop that left arm all the way down to the mat. And maybe we need to keep our blocks, maybe we don't. You can decide as we turn that back foot, that left foot, toes facing forward, heels up, and press the hips down into the mat here. One more breath. Maybe from here, we need to drop the knee down. Perfectly fine. We're just stretching out that hip flexor on the left side. But maybe, like a little more sensation, we can take our elbow to the block, or we can take our elbow to the mat. Breathing here, nice long backs, pressing that left knee into the right knee into the right shoulder. One more breath. From here, we'll come out of the pose. Coming up a little bit. So let's go ahead and bring the right hand over the right foot, headed to plank position or three-legged plank. Taking that right leg back, lifted for three-legged plank or down to the mat for plank. Big inhale and exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale to cobra and downward facing dog. So here's where we catch our breath. Big inhales and exhales and down dog. Staying right there and breathing. And if at any time we need to catch our breath with a tabletop or child's pose, that's perfectly fine. We're trying to catch our breath. We know what's coming. We have the other side to do. We want to be ready for it. So when our breath is no longer choppy, let's go ahead and lift our left leg high to the sky. Flex the foot and bend the knee. Send that left foot over to the right. Stay strong on both hands here. Inhale, long leg, and exhale. Let's bring that left foot through to the thumb. Rise up, warrior one, and exhale, warrior two. Hips are level. We'll straighten that front leg. Bring that right hip back, lean forward, and then maybe take that left hand to the thigh or left hand to the shin or left hand to the block. Right arm up to the sky. So we have wingspan here, wrist to wrist. Pressing that right hip back, crown of the head forward. How do you feel right now? Maybe a micro bend in the knee feels a little bit better for behind the knee, or maybe we're just a little too wide and we can take a step in with that right foot if we need to. One more breath. So from here, we're going to inhale to rise up and exhale back to warrior two. Reverse warrior here, hand on the thigh, arm up to the sky. Let's exhale, side angle pose. Left elbow to the thigh, right arm up to the sky. And And we can add on to that pose if we'd like. Again, taking it to the block or to the mat. What does tend to happen as we lower our elbow and our hand to the mat is that our hips come behind us. We want to keep those hips in line with the wrists, with the ankles here. Our gaze can be down at the mat or looking up at the thumb. Dropping those hips down. We'll take extended side angle pose, reaching that right arm forward, tucking our chin under, looking up towards the sky. So from here, keeping that thigh right where it is, we're taking reverse warrior, right hand on the thigh as we inhale, reverse warrior, exhale, side angle pose. Reach that arm up to the sky here. Breathing. All right, this time we'll flow with our breath. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, side angle again. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. This time on our exhale, we're going to bring that right hand down to the floor. Turn those right toes forward, heel up. And we're going to sink from here. Lower that hip down towards the mat. Nice lunge position here. Maybe we need to drop that right knee to the mat, perfectly fine. Whatever feels best for you, listen to your body. And that's maybe add a little more sensation. Drop those elbows to the block or to the mat, pressing that left knee into the left shoulder here. Nice long spines. Breathing. One more breath. And let's come up from here. We're going to take that left hand around the left foot. So here we're headed to plank position or lifted leg plank position. Let's go ahead and find that. Plank, big inhale. Exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale to cobra. And downward facing dog. Catching our breath here. So it's normal for our breath to be a little choppy. That was a hard thing. That was a hard series. Hard asana flow. Breathing again. One more breath. And let's walk or jump our feet forward. Inhale to look up, lift up. We're going to find our air chair pose. Let's rise up. Inhale, air chair pose. One more breath. Inhale to straighten and exhale, mountain pose. Catching our breath here if we need to. Grabbing water at any time. We're going to take a twist in our air chair pose. So let's inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale to air chair pose. Bringing our hands to heart center, taking our right hand to the sacrum, fingers face down, left hand to the outside of the right thigh, twisting here, shoulder on top of shoulder. One more breath. We're going to inhale and reach center and exhale. Take that left hand to the sacrum and the right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Shoulder on top of shoulder here. Making sure that our knees are level, not one knee jutting out from the other. Nice level knees means level hips. Breathing. That's inhale to reach and exhale, sink deeper. Inhale, straighten, and mountain pose. Catching our breath here. One more time. We'll visit air chair pose again as we sweep up and find air chair pose. So this time we're going to bring our hands to heart center and take the outside of the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Hand on top of hand, shoulder on top of shoulder, elbow on top of elbow, pressing into the palms. Make sure those knees are level. One more breath. Lifting that chest off the thigh. We're going to inhale, stay deep and reach. And exhale, find our way to the other side. So now it's the left elbow anchoring to the right elbow anchoring to the left thigh, palm on top of palm, elbow on top of elbow, shoulder on top of shoulder, breathing here. One more breath. And that's inhale to reach center. A little bit deeper on the exhale. And inhale, exhale. Let's finish that swan dive down. Look up, lift up, and fold, and find our plank position. So our shoulders should be right on top of the wrists here, fingers spread wide. We're gonna come down all the way to the mat for a count of 8. Let's give it a go. Big inhale, exhale, 8, 7, slow, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Tops of the feet on the mat. We'll take Sphinx pose here. So our elbows are right underneath our shoulders. Fingers pressed into the mat. And we want to think about collarbones wide. So widening those collarbones. Press those hips into the mat. Sphinx pose. Breathing here. One more breath. And let's release that. So this time, let's go ahead and place our hands behind our shoulders. So our fingertips are behind our shoulders here. Elbows are in close. They're not out to the side. Tops of the feet on the mat again. Set that pose. So think of squeezing the elbows in. Collarbones wide. So we're just going to take a yoga push-up here. Thighs stay on the mat. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Notice that you want to keep your shoulder away from the ears. We have 4 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Keep those elbows in close. 2 more. And last one. Perhaps you might be a little bit sweaty, lowering down here. We'll find our child's pose. So we'll press back, take those toes together, knees wide, extend the arms long, child's pose. Bring the hands to palms together and take the thumbs to behind the neck, stretching out the tricep behind the arm here. And from here, when we're ready, finding our way to downward facing dog. One more breath. Let's walk or jump our feet up. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold, sweeping those arms up to the sky, to heart center and mountain pose. So I'll mirror you here as we do some balance poses. So we're going to take our left toes, spread them wide, place them back down to the mat. So our left foot is our anchor point. From here, let's go ahead and bring the right knee to hip height. We're going to take the right hand to the knee and the left hand out to the side, palms facing forward, thumbs up. And let's open that right knee out to the right side here for our balance pose. And if we're comfortable, we're going to change our gaze slightly, looking towards our left thumb. One more breath. And let's bring everything back into center and release. We'll take a mini vinyasa, sweeping up and swan diving down. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold. And let's sweep up to the sky again, setting up for the other side. So this time we'll take those right toes, spread them wide, and bring our left knee up. So we're already balancing, the rest is bonus. But if you're comfortable, go ahead and bring that left hand to the knee, right hand out to the side, thumbs facing upward. And let's open that left knee out to the left side. And let's begin to change our gaze to that right thumb. Staying firmly rooted to the earth here in our balance pose. One more breath. And let's bring everything back into center and release. Sweeping up and swan diving down. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold. And let's come up to the sky again. Heart center and mountain pose. So it's very important to practice balance poses on both sides, even though one side might be better than the other. It's so important to stay balanced and continue practicing that, even if we're not good at it. It's so important to practice it. So with that said, we will take another balance pose, very similar to what we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and spread those toes wide. We're going to go ahead and place those left toes back down and the right knee up. This time, we're going to take the opposite hand to the knee. So it's the left hand to the right knee. We can take it over top the knee and grab the outside of the knee if we'd like. Then we're going to reach the opposite arm forward, up and over, turn the palm facing out, and then reach it behind. So we're trying to line our shoulders with our thigh and change our gaze to the back thumb. One more breath. And let's come back forward, reach it up, and release it. Sweeping the arms up, swan dive down. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold, and sweep up again. So I'm going to take that to the side so you might see a better profile of it. We are going to do the other side. So let's go ahead and take our left toes wide. Our right toes wide. And bring our left knee up. We'll take the opposite hand to the outside of that left knee. And reach the arm forward, the opposite arm, up to the sky. Turn that palm to face away from you. And then reach it behind. So here, let's start to line the shoulders up with the thigh. And once we're comfortable, maybe changing our gaze to our left thumbs behind us. One more breath. Beautiful balance here. And let's bring everything back into center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to look up, lift up, and fold. Let's come back up to the sky. Heart center, mindful of our intention, mountain pose. We're going to end up seated, so let's sweep up from here, swan dive down. Bring the right foot behind the left and take it to a seated position on our mats. So I'm going to just turn to the side here, so I'm on my mat. Taking our legs long. Seated staff pose here. Long backs, crown of the head up to the sky. Feet are flexed. We're going to reach those arms up and exhale, forward fold. So let's get a long back. Think about nose to toes, chest long. We don't have to get the nose to knees, nose to toes. Maybe we can reach for the ankles. Maybe we're comfortable right where we are. After a few breaths, maybe we can get just a little bit deeper in the pose. If you're feeling super comfortable, it's always an option to use the block to create even more length. So the block can work in several ways. In some ways to bring the floor up to meet us, and in other ways to extend the length as well. We have 3 more breaths here. One more breath. And let's just walk up from here. Shake those legs out. And we'll take boat pose today. So we're going to bring our feet up. Make sure we have our sitting bones on the mat. Bring our hands behind the knee. And let's create a V position here, shining the heart up to the sky. And we're going to balance on our toes here. Maybe we can lift one toe up and then the other. Maybe both toes up and then the other. And if you're comfortable, maybe you can hold those toes pointed or flexed at knee height, the ankles at knee height. And maybe if you're comfortable, we can reach the arms long. Remember, shining the heart up to the sky, creating wide collarbones. And maybe we'd like to take the full expression of the pose and extend those legs long. One more breath. And let's come in from here. Grab the ankles and find butterfly pose. So we'll bring those feet in close to the hips. And if that's not comfortable for the knee, we just extend it further out. But we do want to grab onto the ankles and not the toes. That'll pull some ligaments. So we want to grab the ankles. Long spines here. And let's exhale, fold forward. Three more breaths. Coming a little deeper with each exhale. One more breath. And let's reach up, rise up, bring those knees together, and shake it out from here. So let's make sure we have enough room to roll down. We're going to exhale and roll down, maybe one vertebrae at a time. Take the legs up to the sky. And the arms up to the sky. And let's go ahead and bend the knee. Taking the ankle in line with the knee, the feet are flexed. And our arms are right on top of our shoulders. So we're going to shift the knees to the right and the arms to the left. Inhale, center, and then switch. Inhale, exhale, side. Inhale, center, and exhale, side. A few more times. We want to maintain control as we work a little bit above abdominals here. Let's take one more. Should be evening out the sides as we bring everything back into center, legs up high. Let's walk up the legs from here. Flex our feet, reach for the toes. One more breath. And let's release that, bringing our feet down. We'll take a bridge pose here. So let's go ahead and bring our thighs together, our heels a little bit wider than our toes. Inhale, rise up, bridge pose, hips up. Let's reach our arms up overhead. And on our exhale, one big inhale. On our exhale, lower the hips and hands together. Inhale, rise those hips up. And exhale, lower the hips and hands. One more time. And let's bring that right knee into the chest. And the left leg comes long. And let's take that right leg high to the sky. And we're just using our hands here to bring our foot up overhead. And if this is too much sensation on that right hamstring, we can always bring that left foot to the mat. And that kind of eases up here. We have to decide what's best for our bodies. And we don't want to overstretch them. Breathing here. Let's take that leg long again if we have an option to. And we're going to bring both knees into the chest now. Take those knees side to side. And let's take that right leg in, left leg in, and right leg to the mat, or the right leg long. Pulling that left knee into the chest. Let's take that leg up to the sky and using our hands, gently pulling up overhead. And remembering, if this sensation is too much, we just back off, bringing that right foot to the mat. Starting to breathe big here. Big inhales and exhales. We just have a few more breaths here. One last opportunity to lengthen those hamstrings. One more breath. And let's go ahead and bring both knees into the chest again. We're going to take those knees side to side. And then maybe we can rotate the knees around the hips in one direction. Maybe take those knees around the hips, big circles in the other direction. One more breath. Bringing our hands to the mat, our feet to the mat. So we're going to take our Shavasana pose, our final relaxation pose here. So let's go ahead and turn our palms facing up. Maybe squeeze our shoulder blades, lengthen our spine. Curling our fingers up as if it was a clamshell. So right now our knees are up to the sky, but we can feel our spine connecting with our mats. And if we're comfortable, we can take that to our full Shavasana with our legs long. And as we do our legs long, we maybe squeeze the buttocks just a little bit. Check in with the lower back. Make sure it still connects with the mat. It's okay to come up slightly, but it should be comfortable. This should be a comfortable relaxation pose. And if it's not, just bring those feet back to the mat. So I just want you to close your eyes here. Find your breath again. Connect again with your breath. Check in with your body and see how you feel. Notice the rise and fall of our chest. Keeping your eyes closed and staying right where you are in Shavasana pose. No reason to move yet, just stay right where you are. And just continue to breathe in your Shavasana pose, relaxing those muscles a little bit more. Inhaling and exhaling. And feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. But for now, let's wiggle our fingers and our toes and bring our knees into our chest. So you're welcome to stay in Shavasana or bring yourself with your knees to your chest and slowly roll over into a fetal position on either side. Then go ahead and use your arms to bring yourself to seated on your mat. Maybe cross those legs and bring the hands to heart center, lifting our hearts up to meet our thumbs and just looking at the tips of our fingers. Remembering our intention that we set at the beginning of our practice today. And let's seal in the benefits of our practice as we bring ourselves forward, maybe bringing our foreheads to our mats. Inhaling to rise. And again, looking at the tips of our fingers. So I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to practice with me. I hope you feel better, more limber, and more relaxed and more ready to take on the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste.